161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Swung on a hit in the air to deep center. Gets back, away back. She is gone.
All right, welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 181. The Yankees made a trade, and a lot of people were upset. Some are still upset. Some sitting next to me are still upset. I had a little bit of time to think about it. I'm not as upset. I will say I was shocked, and I think the shock factor, if you were following along on our social media, there was a lot of shocked posts being thrown out there. I think the only one that actually is still upset is Chandler. We'll dive into that a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know what Murph's feeling, but I think me and Damon are kind of on the same page here. Not to show our hand a little bit, but I've had some time to think. And this episode, by the way, is going to be only about obviously the trade. There's nothing else that we're going to talk about. We're going to continue with your regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. Another roll call coming in tomorrow. Joey Gallo's roll call will be tomorrow if he doesn't get traded. So. Honestly, we posted the Glaber roll call yesterday, and I'm glad he hasn't been traded yet, because I don't know if there were rumors that he was going to get traded to Oakland for Olsen. That's out the window now because Olsen's off the market. But we will get into the trade and all the implications and potentially break some news. Hopefully, while we're recording this, it's 10 o'clock on Monday. While we're recording this, I would like the Yankees to make another move. I guess before we get into this, my take on it when it just happened was like this has to be a setup move for other stuff. That has not happened yet. I don't think it's necessarily dead, but after hearing Cashman's comments, Cashman was like basically sidestepping the question if we had room in the budget for more moves, and he said kind of what he's been saying for the past couple years, like, the Steinbrenners put a lot of money into this current team. We'll make some moves, but we'll see, type thing. So. Don't get your hopes up, but there are people out there still. Freddie Freeman would be great. I don't think we're going to get him. I think we're going to end up with Rizzo. But I don't know why I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. How are we doing, boys?
Good, not great.
Okay. Chandler?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. I think
Murph?
I think that's fine. I'm fine.
I think you sound really sad.
I just don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't care. Like, I know his Saber metrics are good, and I know that Isaiah Falefa. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. It's just that's gonna take me a second. It's just if you're gonna put yourself on a budget and spend the money that you spent to bring over Josh Donaldson, do it for somebody that's gonna move the needle. I don't think you got better. You may have got better, but I don't think it's enough to win anything of significance. Well, if you're going to put yourself on a budget and you're going to make a move that's substantial, that's going to push you over the luxury tax, do something that's actually going to have like a deep impact. I don't think that replacing who we gave up with what we brought in, that's not the swinger. That's not what's going to put you in the World Series. That's not going to win you the division. There's holes everywhere. For the money that you spent right there, you could have signed Rodon, which we need a starter. I've said it time and time again. We have 4 starters. Domingo's on the IL to start the season, which we just found out today. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's a very, very lateral move. A more expensive lateral move. You, like I said, you may get very, very, very minimally better, but that's about, like, cool.
Well, I think that, like, to Rail's point before when he said that it looks like this is going to be a setup move for something else, and I think that after taking time to think about it a little bit more, if there is another move to come, which I really hope there is, and if the move is of significance, then I am a much, much bigger fan of this trade right now. However, if we don't make any other moves and we just kind of call it there and we just go into the season like this, then I think I'll look back on this and be like, this is probably not the smartest move considering everything that's been happening. But, if we go out there, we sign some more pitching, maybe we get another bat somewhere, then, I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. But that's pending those things happening.
My only positive spin on this, and I've been a big switch it up guy for a long time, especially last year when we were just the same shit every single game. So that's my one thing that's kind of grounding me. My initial reaction, I was, a lot of shock factor, but I was pretty upset. And then what's kind of grounded me since then is the, mixing it up factor. I still don't think that it's enough to, like I said, win anything of significance, but at least they're mixing it up, I guess. That's my positive take on it.
We said for the longest time, like, what's the definition of insanity? Running the same thing back, expecting different results. So I am very much aligned with you on that. Like, I'm glad at least we did this. And the big fucking positive that everybody hasn't mentioned yet, Gary's fucking gone. So I'm personally, if you
elated.
If you don't already know, I'm not a Gary supporter.
None of us are.
I don't like Gary Sanchez. So if you're a Gary supporter, then I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm not really, because it's my gain. So he sucks. He's gone. He may not even fucking start. I think he's going to have a terrible year. And to the Gary supporters who are still here after I just shit on Gary, I can't wait for him to hit one home run. And then everybody was like, oh my God, like, look what we gave away for just fucking a bag of balls. The only thing that you mentioned before that I'm upset about this deal, now that I've had time to mull it over, there's a lot to like about it. It's lateral. The money is the only thing. But when you take the money that comes off the books from Gary and Gio combined, it's not as egregious because Kiner Falefa's deal is not as large. I think he's owed like $5 million. I think it's still a big margin, but 23 plus the 5 they were getting on this side of the deal. And then I forget what the two, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know Gary and Gio's combined are a little bit, they close the gap a little bit. So
5.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's not just 23 of a difference. The money doesn't make sense. And the one thing that I saw on Twitter as well is like and I'll pull it up so I don't butcher it, but you guys have all seen it. It's about the Bryce Harper thing. And I'll give some credit here. Neil Keefe said the Yankees didn't want Bryce Harper at 25.3 AAV when they would have gotten him in age 26 to 38 seasons, but they do want Josh Donaldson for ages 36 and 37 at 24 million. So I mean, that makes no sense. And they didn't want to sign Harper because they needed to extend Judge, but they haven't even done yet. So that's a little bit curious to me. And it is a good comparison because it's just like,
it's not. I don't think it's good. I think that's a little short-sighted in my opinion. But Murph, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna if you look at the Donaldson thing, like Donaldson is way better than most 38-year-olds are gonna be, and you can't guarantee 3 or 4 years ago that Bryce Harper is gonna be that good in his year 20
and win another MVP,
win another MVP. You don't know.
He's 27.
Nobody was worried about paying him when he's 38. They were worried about, paying that long of a contract for him at the time. Yeah, because we already had some other contracts, and we were thinking at the time Gary was still good. Somebody we were thinking about re-signing. We had just brought over Stan. It didn't make sense at the time, and I think we're in a very different situation. I still don't think the Donaldson deal is a good idea. Obviously, I don't want to pay him $30 or $25 million a year, but I don't think it's the same thing at all.
I just don't, like I said, I just don't understand it because your whole thing is getting younger, getting cheaper was what you've been doing the last few years, is shedding luxury tax money so you can make a big splashy move, allegedly, and then this is your move. This doesn't move the needle. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to spend that money, make it make sense. Put the money that's gonna win you a championship.
I know, but just saying that, like, we can spend. Why would you spend $25 million on Donaldson when you can spend 23 on Bryce Harper? It's not the right way to look at it. It's
no, it's not. But also,
we're past that now. We're talking about just this move.
I'm just talking about the move.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm putting that in perspective. Like, okay, let's actually dissect. You have Urshela for Falefa, right? Like, those are two very similar players. Falefa had he had more hits than anyone else in the Yankees lineup last year. I'd say that's an upgrade by a small amount. It's an upgrade at a small amount, and it's at a position that we literally have no player at. So
he's the stopgap shortstop that we were talking about.
He's the perfect stopgap shortstop, and we've all been talking about. We're all saying we want that. Great, cool. I'm okay with that. And now we're just trading essentially Gary Sanchez for Josh Donaldson, which we all hate Gary Sanchez on this podcast. I think that he was a terrible defensive player. He's a liability behind the plate. He was not a good hitter for the majority of the season. And Josh Donaldson is an upgrade offensively. And again, like Murph said, he's not a bad player for a 38-year-old. And then we take a look at these contracts right now. Gary
Still
Sanchez
good in
was
the field too. Sorry, still
What's
good
that?
in the field.
still good in the field.
You
Yeah.
would think if he's 38, he's not good in the field, but he was actually making. He's pretty good in the field.
So now we're taking a look at it even more.
He's a small downgrade from Gio's defense, I think.
Yeah,
He's very
yes.
capable on defense, and you get a very large upgrade with the bat, I think.
But the offense
Potentially.
levels that out.
Potentially why? Because if he stays on the field, you're saying?
If he stays on the field, or
Played
he's
100
also
and-
30.
I mean, you could say that about literally
He
anybody.
played 135 games last year. I mean, he has been
he's
having a few
missed-
injuries, but like, I don't
He's
know.
in time
You
where
said the
we're
same
alive
thing
here.
about Luis Severino. I can't just assume injury. So this guy played more than Luis Severino last year. So
Luis Severino had Tommy John at 26. Josh
All right,
Donaldson
now we're just getting off topic.
36.
just saying, if you're a big proponent of not assuming injury,
So wait, let me just finish one thing. So now we have, if we're just doing players, not accounting money, I think this is a great deal. Okay, and now we look at the money part of it. We're playing. What's Donaldson? 25. That was a
Yeah,
year.
20.
Okay,
25 million.
Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela last year or combined made over $14.5 million. So what's the difference of that? About $10 million. I know it's not exact, but I'm just trying to put everything in perspective right here. Like, it really isn't the worst deal in the world, and I think that we got a little bit better, even though we were spending a little bit more money. But at the end of the day, I think that
we paid up $10 million
positive.
to increase. I think in
A position we didn't
areas.
have and a bat in the lineup.
I think after thinking about it for a while, I'm very, very happy about it. I think Josh Donaldson's bat is going to play. He would be the third most productive offensive bat on the Yankees last year behind Stanton and Judge. He had a very good year. He's a very good player.
26 bombs, 72
He
RBIs, and bat 247 last year.
I mean, he's old, there's universal DH. He can mix and match in the DH spot. We can have DJ move over to third base depending on what happens at first base. Like, we have options with him. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be just fine. Connor Falefa, I'm actually pretty excited about. I think, and we said this before, I think Connor Falefa is almost a carbon copy of Gio. Like, just based on the optics of how he's treated it since he came over. He tweeted, I've always wanted to be number 2. Like, good answer. That's what you want to do the first thing as soon as you get traded to the Yankees. And then he posts a video of him shaving. He looks happy, all this, that. He's young too. He's like 25 years old.
He's 26.
26.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good defensive player. He's his mother's favorite kid, like we always used to say about Gio Urshela. He seems like the same personality. I'm very excited about it. I think he has a lot of upside. He's only been in the league for like 3 years. What do you got, Murph?
He reminds me a little bit more of Odor, and it might just be because he came from Texas and shaved his beard. But
That's exactly
the
why.
same-
why. They are the polar opposite player profile.
That is identically why. I mean, his stats in 2021, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. That was just ridiculous. But he slashed 271, 312, 357 slugging, 8 home runs. He actually has speed too. So 20 stolen bases last year. That's something that the Yankees desperately need. That's something that we haven't mentioned before. And the hits. He would have the most hits on the Yankees last year. This is something we need more of, and it's pretty much I'd say it's pretty close to exactly the player that Gio was, except he's a true shortstop and he won a Gold Glove over Gio. So, and he's faster. I think Connor Falefa is great, and I think this has a potential to be a diamond in the rough, like we found Gio, but we found Gio when he was even less than this. I think there's more upside because the starting point that Falefa is at now, I think he can even get better than that. Gio started out as like, who the fuck is Gio? There's the articles that we always read, if only Gio Urshela could hit. And then he turned into this. I think Connor Falefa can take off a little bit. If you look at his game log, he really hasn't played that many games. Last year was his first year as a starter. I mean, I guess 2020 he played a bunch of games too, but like he hasn't had, this is his second full season as a starter.
I'm happy that we have Connor Falefa. I would have liked to see, I think he would have been the perfect cherry on top, not a centerpiece of like reshaping the infield, if that makes sense. Like, I think if you went out and you got Olsen, which obviously they're not doing, or Freeman, which again they're not going to do, or you went out and got an impact bat somewhere, or you got a real game changer on the mound, you got a Rodon, or you went out and traded for Sean Manaea, and then at the end you wrapped it up a nice little bow. We spent, on XYZ. We're going to go ahead and bring in a defensive first shortstop that is going to get you some base hits. He's going to steal some bags, and he's an awesome dude. Awesome. Tie a bow on it. Off season, I would give that an A.
I wouldn't even
if
say
he
he's a
is
cherry
your,
on top.
if he's
though.
your marquee, if him and Donaldson are your only two moves, like I just don't.
Oh, you're saying for the whole? Okay,
I'm saying
yes,
for the whole offseason.
yes. There needs to be. I don't think this is a lateral move by any means. I think that we did upgrade from this move. I think we won this deal. We got rid of yes. You're in the grand scheme of the offseason, there needs to be more. Agreed.
Yes, that's what I'm
saying. But when you if this were to be the only move, and you're not even talking about like whether or not you needed more or not, this deal standalone, we won this deal. I think hands down. We got rid of. Look at what we got rid of. Gary Sanchez. Useless. And if anyone who I've seen comments out there that says we should have got more out of Gary, my own friend Dragoin said we should have got more out of Gary. There is nothing you can get out of Gary. He had no value whatsoever. I'm not sure if anybody who is listening to this saw the clip that we posted of all the miscues
we
of Gary.
literally had to take
I had to
$15
really
million
okay
to get rid of him.
This deal,
I'm
exactly.
on your side.
Yeah. I know. I didn't know what you meant.
You
I thought you were getting back.
At me. No,
I thought
I'm
you were
on your
going back
side,
to that.
dickhead.
No, I got that. So now we got rid of Gary Sanchez, and that was why we had to pay the contract, because he was nothing. He was the throw-in. Gary Sanchez was a throw-in. Gio was the one that was actually moving the needle in this deal and the money. So we paid money and Gio for 2 upgrades at 2 positions. I'm very happy about it. And one thing that we also weren't talking about with Kiner Falefa, we were talking, and it seemed like they were after Kiner Falefa for like 2 years now, and they like him as a stopgap. And this also very much tells us that they are very high on Anthony Volpe, because we didn't go sign a shortstop. We're not going to sign a shortstop, for those that still think we might. They think Volpe is going to be the guy, and I don't know if I believe that, because Yankees prospects haven't really been. I know, but that's what it's telling us. They're riding with Volpe. Volpe's going to be the guy, and he's the perfect stopgap for now.
We can say it's a lot of pressure to put on a 21-year-old all we want, but it seems like at a certain point you got to let your prospects go through the system.
Well, I know, but I saw a tweet the other day. Nobody's going to complain if you have like Seager or Correa and then Volpe's ready. You're like, oh shit, now I have to now I have to play Correa and I have to play Volpe. Darn. Like, that's a good problem to have. Just
no, but they think that they don't have to spend up because he'll be that guy. It's not a matter of getting both. It's like we don't have to spend the money here, albeit they should have spent that money on Donaldson elsewhere, because you're saving money by not going after Correa. But that's the plan. It's not a matter of like, oh yeah, it wouldn't be an issue if we, oh darn, we have to bring up Volpe. It's no, they are going after no shortstops to save money and put it elsewhere because they think Volpe is the guy at shortstop. Didn't happen because they allocated the money to a 36-year-old playing third base. I agree with you there, but that's not.
I'm just saying, if Volpe comes up, and I think he's going to be great, don't get me wrong, and I hope he is the best shortstop of all time. But if he comes up and he is not that caliber of player, if he's not a mega star, then you whiffed on the biggest shortstop free agency class in the history of baseball. And that's a pretty big mistake. You don't make up for that in a year. That's a huge mistake that you just made, because you're banking on one guy and you're not willing to maneuver on that. That's a lot. That's what they say, putting all your eggs in one basket, Luke. That's all I'm saying.
Where do you think Donaldson's going to hit?
It also doesn't make a lot of sense to bring in a shortstop at 10 years when your 2 of your top 5 prospects are shortstops.
And the other thing too, why they're more willing to possibly give Donaldson that money is because it's short term. He's out next year, and I don't know how much does he make next year. He doesn't make that much next year.
He's got $50 million over the next 2 years. So divvy it up how you want.
Okay. Well, regardless,
roughly 25 a year.
It was a 4-year, $92 million deal from 2022 to 2023.
Okay, I didn't know if they're eating any of that.
Has a mutual option, AAV of $23 million.
Regardless, they went for this deal versus a Correa or other stuff like that because the years. And I think, honestly, another part of this is I think it's a good mix. I'm not one to prospect hug, but when you have good prospects, like Murph was saying, sometimes you got to let them fucking run through the system. And if Volpe is this guy that we think he's going to be, or not we think, that they think he's going to be, in 4 years or 5 years, if we have a top prospect that's coming through and he's playing really well, and I'm not saying like he'll be the next Jeter or anything like that, but if you see him in another team after we trade him away and we get who knows who for him in a trade, I'd be pretty pissed if he starts becoming that fucking stud that we could have a shortstop for years to come. So I'm not one to prospect hug, but I'm very happy that we did this because I think it was not even, and it's not a lateral move. It's like we're getting some young guys. We're keeping some young guys, but we're also getting some like veterans to try and win now. But it's kind of a hybrid model of not just going for it all and ruining the farm system, but keeping some of your farm system, keeping your good farm system, and also getting some veterans to win now. It's like you're not risking the future for today.
You know what this move shows me is that they're not banking on winning a championship now, and they're not banking on winning one like in the short term.
They're keeping another baby bomber window open.
Exactly. They're putting a product out there that can compete and make a playoff, and if they get lucky, we'll see what happens. They're not trying to win a World Series right now with this move, in my opinion. I just don't think you are.
I'm not necessarily super duper upset that they're keeping a second wave of baby bombers to stick together. Like, they have a group of prospects that are going to come up at the same time, and I'm not upset about that.
Look at the Olsen deal, though. I think they would have been fine giving up some prospects for the Olsen deal. The Braves gave up their number 1, number 2, number 6, number 14 prospects.
Yeah.
For us, that would have been Dominguez, Volpe, Austin Wells, and then the pitcher whose name I can't think of right now. Starts with a B. Joke's on me, but that's way too much. Regardless, we're not doing that. So is that hot prospect hugging? No, but the Braves just won a championship and they're trying to keep the band together, so they gave up their farm system, and they have one of the best farm systems in baseball.
Well, not only do they,
that, but we can't.
They're also
losing Freeman, so that's why they had to put all their eggs in one. Maybe they started to feel in the negotiations that Freeman wasn't going to come back, and they would just lose out on him and potentially also Olsen. So they went out on a limb and just got Olsen because of the fear of losing Freeman. And then, like, if they lost Freeman after Olsen got off the board, then they're just fucked.
They also have all their young stars locked up already. They've got Albies and Acuna locked up for the next 8 years.
For pennies on the dollar.
Exactly. So they're going to have flexibility down the road. Like, that makes plenty of sense for them. I agree with you that giving up that haul wouldn't have been worth it. I would have given up, a substantial haul for it.
I know, but I'm saying we wouldn't have been able to outbid them because they were in such a bind that they had to overpay. That's why we were never even in this Olsen thing. That's what the report said, is like the Yankees were in it until they saw what the Braves started offering.
The second they throw out the name Dominguez or Volpe, I'm out on a guy like Olsen.
But also the Braves are kind of different situation where, like, a lot of their players they just won a championship, and a lot of their players are like about to enter their like prime. And they kind of want to keep the band together, like you guys said, and then kind of just like win another championship next year, which is very possible. So they kind of know that they have this, like, for lack of better words, like a short window to win another championship, and they're going for it, which I think is something that we're not doing, which is, again, different strategy, but they're going all in apparently.
My whole thing with this approach that they're taking right now is, when do you blend in those two things? Because you do need the veteran presence and the younger guys. You need that baby bomber plus veteran presence. Like the 2017 team was an awesome mixture. That was the perfect mixture. That was the best team we've had in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not putting money towards Judge? Why is that not a priority for you? Why have you not even discussed an extension with him? Why are you not trying to move? If Volpe's ETA is really 2023, and same with Wells and Pariah,
and Judge is gone,
and your big marquee guys are gone, you're just starting from scratch. So to me, if you're going to start from scratch, it's pointless to bring in these big albatross contracts for older guys now if you're not going to blend
if there's no blueprint.
If you're just starting over and you're like, all right, well, fuck, bye guys, then you just took on this contract for a year for no reason.
Yeah, like, at least if you have a skeleton of your core people moving forward, like a blueprint, like we were saying, like Judge hopefully will be there with an extension, like Stanton will be there, Cole will be there. You could build around those guys. Those are the franchise guys, and then all of the rest of them kind of fill in the gaps with some prospects, some veterans, and that's something that you at least have as a guarantee moving forward, and we don't have that. That could be solved as soon as they potentially extend Judge, which if they just extend Judge this offseason, bring back Rizzo, I'm not too super upset. I'm not thinking, wow, we're gonna win the World Series. The win the World Series move would have been bringing in Freddie Freeman and then extending Judge or something like that.
Bringing in Correa.
Yes,
Those are
but
World
I mean, I
Series
meant
moves.
after this deal, like the next moves to make me say, wow, this is a World Series team is bringing in Freddie Freeman, which I don't think is going to happen anymore. If it does, World Series back on. That would be amazing. The 1 through 4, like we mentioned before, would be the best 1 through 4 in baseball. I mean, it'd just be ridiculous. But I think I'll settle for at least just bringing back Judge, proving that you're giving a shit for the future. Because, like you said, if he walks, now we just have Stanton, who will become more and more of a DH. We have Cole, who's good, but like you have prospects, and then you have Stanton and Cole, and then what? Who knows what Glaber is? Like we mentioned on the roll call yesterday.
But I mean, even with the rotation, that's one of my biggest like bugaboos right now. Is they have done nothing to solidify this rotation. You don't even, like I've said time and time again, we don't even have a 5-starter. So this is all bringing up these baby bombers and everything and keeping that core together is all for nothing unless you're banking on a rotation of Cole and then prospects, because Sevy's a free agent after next year, and then you're just going to be Cole, and then you're hoping for Heel, Medina, Waldachuk, Clark Schmidt, all these guys to pan out to be a World Series caliber 1 through 5. When you have options like Minaya and Frankie Montas and Carlos Rodon and Luis Castillo.
Bassett when he was out there.
You have these options that you can get that are attainable options, and you just let them all go by the wayside. That doesn't make sense to me. If you're saving these guys to build for another window, you need to start putting things in place, especially in the rotation, if you want to actually utilize them when they come up. That's my biggest problem. I think the more that I talk about it, I think that's my biggest issue with this deal, is because there was more that you could do that set you up for the future. If you're not going to go for it now, which I don't think this move signifies that they're doing, I think there's way more things you could have done that angled you better in the future. That's why I'm pissed off. And the more that I talk through it, I think that's why I'm actually as upset as I am.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter, Yankee Source, he pulled up a tweet from Brian Hoke that said in the Aaron Boone press conference when he said, "We can win now with what we have," that quote. And then he quote tweeted that, and it was another Aaron Boone quote that Brian Hoke asked him, and it said, "This league has closed the gap on us. We've got to get better in every single aspect."
Yeah, that was a few days ago. It's just
No, I know, but I'm saying like that's relevant now. It's kind of like he's, a while ago he was like, we need to get better in every single way, and then now he's just like, oh, we're good with what we got. And that, just to your point, Chandler, obviously we got better in 2 places, but there's still a bunch of different places we need to improve on before we can actually like consider ourselves World Series ready.
There has
World
to be another
Series,
move.
If
And I'm not
there's
just
no
saying
other move.
I'm not just saying re-sign Rizzo. There has to be. There's no way.
Let me get a temperature
no
check
way.
on the Rizzo thing, because I feel like a lot of people are writing him off just because he's not Freeman, and you're right, he's not. But I would be very happy. I liked Rizzo when he was on the. He was.
Too, but he's not. He can't be the move. That's the reason
No,
that we made this.
but he would be.
He's another lateral move.
He's
That's
a
not
cherry
a
on
lateral
top
move.
kind of guy.
It is. We
That's
had him
getting a
last
start.
year.
That's not lateral. He's not on the team right now. It's adding another. It's adding a starting first baseman.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're bringing back the same. We bring back the same exact team as last year, and you put Donaldson and Kiner. Fuck me. What is the second?
Falefa.
Kiner Falefa.
Kind of fuck
Just
me.
say falafel and stop short.
Well, I don't want to be an asshole and say Falafel because that's disrespectful. Kiner Falefa. There we go. So you're taking out Gio and Gary, and you're putting in Donaldson and Kiner Falefa, and you're running it back.
It's got to be more.
That's
That's it.
Has to be
There
more.
has to be more. I mean,
so.
the more I think would be pitching. I think they could still trade for Sean Manaea. They're still talking to Sean Manaea. They're still talking to Frankie Montas. I think
you need to get them both. I think if you're serious about contending this year, you need to swing a trade for both, or you need to get one of the
A's
two.
are fucking selling.
I
so-
know you need to get one of the two, and then you need to make a move for Joey Votto and Luis Castillo.
and Castillo.
That I would be okay.
The Reds are absolutely like selling
They're a
everybody.
dumpster
You have to at least call.
Let's bring back Sessa.
No.
Let's do it.
I would
Fine.
actually. I would like to bring back Sessa. He was
just
great.
saying.
Shit, at
Fix
this
the
point,
ball
I would
guy.
too. Dude, our bullpen sucks, kind of. That's something I
Shipped
feel
him
like.
to Cincinnati the second he was good. Bring him back.
Look at our bullpen, though. That's something another thing that I'm worried about. There are so many question marks in that bullpen. That's what I'm saying. There's so many holes in this lineup that could have been addressed, and we're just not doing it.
If Freddie Freeman goes to the Blue Jays,
Just quit.
the Dodgers. I mean, I'd be upset. I'd be more upset if he goes to the Blue Jays because
Yes,
the
100%.
Dodgers would beat. No, we would have a harder time beating the Dodgers, but we would meet them in the World Series, and we could say that we made the World Series. Then we'd get throttled by them. But the Blue Jays, we won't even make it out of our fucking division. We won't even make it a wild card if the Blue Jays get that much better. The Blue Jays can already beat us, but adding Freeman and taking him away from us would be.
We can technically make the wild card as the 4th team in the AL East this year. Because there are 3 wild card teams and then the division winner.
That was music to Brian Cashman's ears.
That's probably what they were talking about.
Dude, I just have this horrible image.
Hey, Brian, you know we can make the wild card. We're the
I have
4th
this
best team in the division.
horrible image in my head of like just a hot midday summer game, and we're having a bullpen game because everybody's hurt and we haven't got any starters.
Chad Green trots onto the mound.
Chad Green comes to open it and passes it off to Joely Rodriguez, and then you've got Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, George Springer, and fucking Freddie Freeman just bam, 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 bam.
Blue Jays are also talking to Kyle Schwarber now too.
Yeah, so
they're gonna sign him.
Put those 5 in a row and just fucking.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's an actual nightmare.
That might be. Then you're not even counting Teoscar Hernandez. That might be.
Yeah.
Like, that might be the
Notable
best.
Yankee killer.
That might be the best offensive lineup I've seen in.
They're the best offensive
maybe
lineup.
ever. Like that lineup could be the best offensive lineup ever if that's assembled.
They don't
Probably
suck
the
at
best
pitching
right
either.
now.
Yeah, and they have pitching and
They have everything.
Their bullpen's bad, but
yeah, but
it doesn't matter
Small
when
wins.
you're up.
When you're-
Small
doesn't
wins.
matter.
When you're putting up
If you're
football
winning
scores, it
13
doesn't
to
fucking
1,
matter.
your bullpen doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right, well they didn't get him yet, and they didn't get Schwarber yet either. So let's not talk about that.
I mean, that's a pretty big thing.
At least
to
we're
talk
What
not
do
the
you,
Padres, right?
what do you guys think about? Let's just not say realistically, but if this would happen, Joey Votto.
I would love it.
Yeah, I think that's a good move.
I think Joey.
I was out on it when you said it originally, Chandler. to
What's
us
he
earlier.
making?
25.
He's making a decent amount of money. He's their only bad contract, so they might actually.
He's not a
get rid of
bad
him.
contract. He almost won an MVP last year.
No,
I
and
mean,
he's the Reds' only big contract. I
Well,
should
they
say.
had Eugenio Suarez, but they traded him. So
He wasn't even that big of a contract.
I thought he was around 20.
I mean, yeah, around 20. Like they were getting rid of him and Winker, who didn't have they weren't offloading them because of their contracts. They were just selling the team.
It's just, dude. I think right now I would, out of the options available, and I'm not including Freeman on that because we're not getting Freeman. I think that's just wishful thinking. And if you think we're still getting Freddie Freeman, put it out of your head, or you're setting yourself up to get hurt again. I think Votto is the best option. What are you losing with him that you're gaining in Anthony Rizzo?
I mean, if your issue is money earlier, he's getting paid another $25 million.
So
next
is
year.
Rizzo. If you're signing Rizzo, you're paying Rizzo 20. He turned down 25 from the Cubs. Just keep that in mind. So if you're paying for a first baseman, I'd rather have Joey Votto. He's the best. He's got the best eye in the history of baseball.
Hey, Todd Frazier's still out there.
I actually love Todd Frazier. Don't shit on Todd
It's only
Frazier.
36. I thought he would be like 50.
Dude, he's awesome. He was so good in the World Baseball Classic.
Brad Miller's still out there. Fucking love that dude now with the show.
He was really good in Tap Sports Baseball.
Yeah, there's not many first base options out there.
What do we have?
It goes Freddie.
Rizzo's making 16 this year.
It goes
Still a lot. But
It goes Freddie Freeman, Anthony Rizzo, 10 feet of shit, Brad Miller, Yoshi Tsutsugo, Ryan Zimmerman, Colin Moran, David Vogt,
Ryan
Ronald
Zimmerman.
Guzman, Todd Frazier.
Wait, no, we have Guzman.
I know we do. So
Oh.
we have the 16th person on this list. Mike Ford is at the bottom of this.
Zimmerman
so.
retired.
wow,
and
Mike
he's
Ford, what a name.
Apparently, he's working out with the Yankees down in South Florida. I was listening to that Judge interview. He's been working out with them every day.
Good, I'm glad. Does Chris Bryant play a little bit of first base?
That's what I was. He plays everywhere. That's what I was going to
and
say
the outfield.
earlier.
I feel
would
like we
take
should put
him.
all of our eggs in Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant is a center. His favorite position to play is center field.
I love Chris Bryant.
Great.
He's my favorite non-Yankee.
Bring him and Rizzo back. Just build the Cubs.
I'd
Rizzo.
rather a fucking center fielder than a first
Gleyber
baseman.
Torres was also
Here-
on the Cubs. We'd have one big happy family. They were talking
Here's the
before
good thing.
about. Well, they were talking before about Brian Cashman sure as fuck knows how to build fill the locker room because Garrett Cole, Josh Donaldson, and everybody who's just the worst. If they bring in Glaber, Glaber lost Gio. That was a big locker room guy right there too. They lost Sessa, big locker room guy, as Murph likes to say. But if they bring in Bryant and Rizzo, and Glaber has been with him a little bit. Chapman was on the Cubs for a little bit. We have some chemistry working here. I think just the Bryant Rizzo thing, the Brizzo.
I think
Cubs fans would punch air if we got both of them.
I legitimately think if you, God,
they'd be so upset.
Chris Bryant would be an amazing get. He is like he's a younger DJ that hits for power and plays the outfield.
I feel like he hasn't been rumored to go anywhere.
He's been the Rockies' #1 target.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's psyched about that. He would come right over to the Yankees with open arms. When I went to San Francisco, I went to the Giants. I think they were playing the A's or the Astros or something. But his very first that was his first game in San Francisco. Beautiful ballpark, by the way. Home run.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah. What do you think we've been talking about?
So here's the thing about Chris Bryant.
No.
The best thing
there's
about
nothing.
Chris
Oh, I
Bryant
think I said
right
something
now.
bad.
No, the best thing about Chris Bryant right now is that there has been no indication that the Yankees are linked to him, which makes me think that the Yankees are linked to him.
I think you're right.
Because look at this. Like, nobody was talking about Donaldson 3 days ago.
You're
That's
right.
because
And then
everybody in
here
Yankees,
he is.
everybody in the
Because
state of New
he-
York hates Donaldson.
No, you're right. But the fact is that it seems like Cashman just pulls shit out of his ass, and with the exception of Cole, who we're anticipating to get. But it seems like recently it's just like, oh, okay, sure, we'll take DJ LeMahieu out of nowhere. Like
I would buy a Chris Bryant jersey
It comes out
tomorrow.
of nowhere.
Do you think we're bringing
I
back
would love
Brett
it.
Gardner within the next couple days?
Yes.
I
obviously.
will be so.
Brett Gardner would
frustrated when that
play.
inevitably
Brett Gardner
happens.
would play for the Yankees this year for literally like a bag of nickels.
Dude, Brian Hoke.
Just to be in the locker room.
Just
I think
to
he would.
play.
Did you guys see Brian Hoke's tweet today where he said Brett Gardner's at the spring training facility today? And it was
No, he wasn't.
It was Brett Gardner's in the spring training facility today, but he was a light fixture they had as like an outline. And I saw it and the camera pointed at the ground. And when I tell you I spit my food out, I legitimately, my jaw dropped. I was like, fuck.
How funny would that be if he actually just showed up and waited outside, like those, like you know those videos of and the stories about like guys who wait outside the like NFL stadiums and they ask for a tryout or something like that. Imagine that was
Like
Brett
Willie
Gardner,
Mays Hayes.
and he had a sign outside. Yeah, like Willie Mays Hayes had a sign outside. It's like, I just need another shot.
Dude, I think Tim LeCastro effectively ended that because
I don't think so at all.
they signed him to a major league contract. If you've got, why do you need Hicks and Gardner and LeCastro? Like,
Okay,
you're
I'll
just-
tell you why you need Gardner with the
I'll
current.
tell you
with the-
what.
if you don't get Chris Bryant would solve that problem because he could play the outfield. But if you think that signing Tim LeCastro is the thing keeping Brett
I
Gardner
would take
from
him.
entering Steinbrenner Field from the curb that he's at right now, you're so fucking wrong. I mean, you just said Aaron Hicks and Tim LeCastro are the two people that are keeping Gardner from not getting signed. Tim LeCastro just got hurt last year. Who the
He
fuck
tore
knows
his
what's happening with him?
ACL.
Not great. it's not a
not-
good
it was a
injury.
freak
And then
injury.
Aaron Hicks will be hurt this year.
Aaron Hicks is-
and Brett Gardner plays every game. That's what they see. That's what I see.
Bro,
At this
Aaron
point,
Hicks has 2 games to play.
last year, if we didn't have Brett Gardner, we would have been starting Tyler Wade as the
Shit,
primary
that we
center
would have
fielder.
barely made the playoffs. Like,
No, I'm just saying Brett Gardner played a lot last year.
I know.
There's a reason for that, which means we needed him. He was the best option on the roster, which means if.
But we also have Florial and Pariah and Lockridge and all like
and
we.
Lockridge, yeah.
Lockridge is a top 20 Yankee.
I would love
prospect.
I would love Brandon Lockridge.
He's
to come up.
higher than.
He's higher than Florial now.
I would
Florial, yeah.
cream if Lockridge came up.
Same. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like we've got so many center fielder prospects, and
They're not willing to
they
bring
just
them up.
will not bring him up because they're like, oh, wait. You said Brett Gardner will come back. How old is he? 53. Florial, he's 32 down there in AAA still hitting 400 this year. We'll go ahead and bring Gardner back.
Brett Gardner's 38 years old. I mean, give it a rest, dude. like, what is your family thinking? Like, he just needs to stop.
It's just so bad because they will, every time he says he wants to play, they immediately will sign him. They're just like, well, you know
I
what?
think he says he wants to play. You know what's funny? And this is the last thing we'll say on Brett Gardner. I feel like the past 2 years when he's been a free agent, it's just been a mutual understanding from Brett Gardner to the Yankees. Like, hey, we're not going to talk for a while. You're going to be the last move we make, but just hang tight. and he does. He hangs tight. And that's just some kind of just allegiance to the Yankees. Like, he has no plans of playing for any other team. It's just hey, hang tight. And I don't know if he's getting other phone calls and he's denying them. I think he might.
He probably gets other phone calls.
He could start. I mean, he starts for the fucking Yankees, so he could start for a lot of the teams. A lot of other teams would be interested if the Rockies, the Rockies could go after him.
Don't they have Charlie Blackmon, like $100 million deal?
Doesn't he play right?
He might. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he played center.
All right, what else do we want to chat about?
I really want Chris Bryant.
You know what I can guarantee you is going to happen?
What?
We're going to get off this episode.
And
We're
there's
going to
be
go
breaking
look at our
news.
phones, and it's going to be like breaking news. We traded Stanton for fucking Joey Votto.
I love that crowd now that's like, there's an NLDH. Let's offload Stanton. It's like, are you fucking high? Have you
Who
seen
said that?
It's all over Twitter. Like, anytime you look
did
at
not see that.
I've seen it so many
I haven't
times.
seen
People
it.
are like, why don't we offload Stanton now that the NL has a DH? Like,
That's just stupid.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but we don't really have a stacked hitting lineup, and we're going backwards there. Like, let's go ahead and keep one of our top two
Ronald
hitters.
Torres is still out there. Let's bring him back.
I love Ronald Torres.
He had half WAR last year. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's still so many people like big names that need to go.
Did you really say that after I said Ronald Torres?
Not
Is that what sparked that in your brain?
No.
Like, you know what? He is out there still. We still
Carlos
have hope.
Correa, Trevor
we can
Story,
write
Ronald
down
me.
Torres.
It just got me. I just remembered that Trevor Story still hasn't signed it either.
Yeah, him and Ronald
No
Torres. neck
word
and neck.
on him.
Dude, we should just bring back all of the old gang. There's Brandon Drury's out there, Starlin Castro's out there, Ronald Torres.
Yeah, bring them all back.
Yeah, Starlin Castro. That'd be a good one. I'm pretty sure he's suspended for domestic violence. So
Is he?
Yeah.
That's a tough scene.
Hey, Didi's out there.
Is he?
He's at least on the trade block. Let's see. I like
Austin
that.
Romine's out there.
Let's just recreate 2017. They're all probably.
That literally is the entire team is a free agent right now.
Yeah, that's probably not a good sign on them, but whatever. Could be fun. If we're not gonna win, we might as well recreate some magic.
When do we think things will happen?
Is that what we're talking about? If that's what we're talking about, we should end this fucking episode right here.
What do you
I'm
mean?
just getting
Should we just wait?
anxious.
Should we just wait and just talk about our days until a move potentially happens?
Maybe I'm
like
down.
When did the move happen last night? Like 11:30?
I feel like the moves happen way late at night all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, because Brian
Cashman's
Cashman,
he's a night owl.
dude, he's too busy during the day fielding questions of why his recently acquired trade piece and his fucking ace that's $34 million hate each other. He's answering questions on that when Matt
Yeah.
Olson got traded.
I'm taking like no. I'm like not reacting at all to any of these press conferences. They're all fucking bullshit.
I was
Tommy
personally
Pham is a
pissed
free
off.
agent.
I was pissed off when I saw Cashman on the mic. It's like, why are you not going and making deals right now?
Because they're asking him why he's not going and making deals. Like, hey, yeah, everybody around you is getting better, and you traded for Josh Donaldson. What
Do
what
we
you
bring
doing there?
Betances back?
Yeah, why not, right?
He's a free agent.
You know what we haven't heard a lot of?
David
the
Robertson.
Red Sox haven't made any moves.
It's true.
What are they doing? What are the Reds? What is the boys of the Red Sox talking about right now?
I think they're just waiting for
The boys of
pitcher to get
Lansdowne
healthy
Street.
They're just watching the world burn and then just gonna pick up scraps.
No, I mean, they got
Their
Chris
payroll is
Sale back.
fucking high.
Yeah, I mean, they got Devers and Bogarts and Sale and
Their payroll is like pretty much exactly what ours is. It's like
Jaden
fifth in the entire MLB.
yeah, they're still better than us.
You think
And
so?
then the Dodgers
so.
still 200 million more than them too. Somehow.
Dude, did you see the Mets? Like Steve Cohen. It must be fun. You know what?
It must be nice.
It must be fun to
Oh,
be
you
a
know
Mets
who
fan
the
right
Red
now.
Sox are in on is Suzuki.
They're in on Schwarber. They're in on Freeman allegedly. I think it'd be so fun to be a Red Sox fan. A Mets fan. Steve Cohen today literally was like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna blow past 290." Like just casually. It's like, how much time's left before the season? 2 weeks, and we're at what? 280? Yeah. Expect us to go 290. It's like you realize that's
pimp.
the biggest threshold, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, we want to win, right? That must be so cool. Seeing Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer warming up next to each other in the bullpen, it's like watching the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, why else do you own a team? You want to win, right?
Michael Pineda is still out there.
Not here.
I mean, it's Hal Steinbrenner was just kind of giving them to
Jay
him.
Happ's
He really
out there.
signed for that. Oh, great!
Yeah, lovely.
He's only 39.
He fits the bill of a Yankee player.
Brett Gardner's right there.
Yeah.
We should, if we're gonna, we should lean into this. We should just be the oldest team, just be
Yeah.
the wisest team. When it comes down to like a
Baseball smarts.
nitty gritty, like
You can't
bunt
teach
play,
experience.
we'll absolutely make the right move, and we won't lose on. That's another benefit. I mean, I'm gonna use this time to continue to shit on Gary. So buckle up. We're not gonna lose on dumb mistakes where you don't tag the person when you have a 40-foot gap. They're on third base and you still let them slide in under your tag. We're not going to lose on passed balls. We have great defense behind the dish now. Whether it's the new guy, whatever, I don't even know his fucking name is, but he's absolutely shredded.
Bicep boy.
Bicep boy, and he's got great defensive metrics. He's the highest rated defensive catcher in the Twins organization last year, and he's got very high frame rate. He's a lefty bat, not really good at hitting right now, but like he's obviously a prospect, so take that with a grain of salt. You can't teach defense, clearly. Gary couldn't learn it. So I'm happy to have the defense. And I've been talking about this for a long time too on the show, is like I'd rather just have an out there. We have so many guys who can hit on this roster, even as it is right now. If Higgy and this guy are just the backstops and they can just provide amazing defense and you just take that out, and who knows, they could get hits sometimes, like that's fine. You won't lose defensively. You won't lose runs. You won't get negative WAR from your defense. You'll just get nothing from offense, or not really that much.
This new guy, from what I've heard, isn't a great hitter, but
He's apparently like a just defensive wizard.
neither was Gary.
I want defensive wizards. That's
I'm
it.
totally cool
There are
with
not that many good offensive players anyway. Gary was a league average, a little bit below average hitter last year, and
Yeah, just last year.
no, but he was worse. But I'm saying he was
he was
he
sick
was
in
worse
2016.
before that. So
He was a 170 hitter from the All-Star break of 2019.
I'm just so glad he's gone.
I am too. And okay, here's a question for you guys. What do you think the realistic chances are that Judge gets figured out before the season? Because they said they're going to work in privacy.
Well, here's the thing.
Not.
Before the season, 0%.
Really?
What?
I wouldn't say 0.
You're a little bit nuts.
I mean, no. I mean,
I would say like 50-50.
Watch him backtrack it.
no. I'm just saying. Cashman said literally today. He said those conversations will happen, and we'll keep them as private as we can. He's happy to be Yankee, and it'd be great if we can keep him longer.
He said that today?
Yeah.
Today.
I think
He
we're
said
gonna
those conversations have
randomly-
not happened yet today.
I think we're gonna just randomly see a notification out of nowhere that says Judge signed an extension.
Yeah,
We're
but
not
I
having
don't.
an
I don't think it's
indication.
gonna happen in before the season.
No,
It's
I
like
don't.
so
I don't know
much
if
shit
it'll
to figure
happen
out.
before the season either.
Dude,
But
do
they
you
don't
know
have a
how
dead,
weird?
They don't have a season deadline either. Like it can happen into the season. It's not like when Lindor said he would only sign
Yeah,
the extension with the Mets before the season.
Do you think it'll affect him if he isn't extended before the season?
I mean maybe. I mean,
Possible, but
I
in
didn't
what
know.
way? Does he check out or does he
Not check out. Do you think he
Because-
presses?
Well, if he, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that he necessarily does, because of the pedigree of player he is, but it's.
I mean,
It's
after
it's a worry. It's a concern. I don't know how the Yankees front office, again, I don't know how they're not concerned about stuff like this. Like,
we got
we're
a lot
just-
of shit to figure out. And
Yeah.
hopefully they're doing that, and then they'll worry about Judge after that.
I feel like Judge should have been priority 1, 2, and 3. I mean,
I
we're
mean, I
just four
agree.
jackasses sitting on the couch, and we know that can affect the entire team. I mean,
True that.
surely Brian Cashman makes an ungodly amount of money to do what he does and not do it well. Surely he
you
can
can't.
sniff that out.
You can't really expect Judge to go out there and be like a captain like guy if he's not guaranteed to be there next year.
Exactly. He is your bona fide captain. We've talked
Yeah.
about it before at length, and you just don't even. You haven't even spoken to him about job security.
Yeah.
We should just get all of these home run hitters that are on the market. Like just like we're home run or bust. Let's just absolutely lean into it.
Yeah.
We're too far gone this season. Sign a bunch of 1-year deals of guys who just hit absolute tanks, break the home run record. Get Josh Peterson. Get Jock Peterson. I mean, Kyle Schwarber. There's some bombs
We
out
should
there.
got
Wait,
Nelson
no,
Cruz.
Jorge Soler isn't he a free agent?
Yeah, Jorge Soler.
is he? Derek Dietrich sucks. Chris Davis can hit bombs.
No, he can't. He
yes,
can't
he-
hit anything.
Are you talking
He
about?
can't
No,
hit
no.
water if he fell out of a
Eight-
boat.
Not
A's
not
Chris
yeah.
Davis.
A's Chris Davis.
K. Chris.
Yeah, Chris with a K. Jorge Soler is a free agent. Nick Castellanos can drop some nukes.
Nick Castellanos hit like
He's just-
320 last year.
Nick Castellanos would
why
actually be a good
is
signing.
he? Why is he not signed anywhere? feel like he
Ask
should have
me.
been gone.
I think the
now.
Red Sox are in on Castellanos. Maybe.
I
That
think
would
you're
suck.
right.
I want to
actually.
get Castellanos just for the sake of being able to tweet every time he hits a home run and Castellanos with a deep drive to left, and that'll make it a 4-0 ball game every single time. We
I
can
feel
put
like
that.
he's gonna be an NLDH. That's my guess.
I love Nick Castellanos. He's
Because
awesome.
he can't field worth.
He had 4.5 WAR last year. He was flirting with an MVP halfway through the year.
And he
He
had that
he was
awesome press conference. You remember after he got suspended for not fighting, and he hit a home run, and they brought him over there to the fan, and he handed the microphone to the fan, and he was just like, "Yeah, Rob Manfred's a piece of shit," and he just like pointed at him. He's like, "Yep, he said it." Like,
Speaking of the Reds, former Reds, guess who the 6th highest person is on the Reds payroll currently for 2022?
Luis Sessa.
Damn,
I really thought that was the one.
Sonny
I'll
Gray,
give you a hint. He retired 12 years ago.
King Griffey Jr.
It is Ken Griffey Jr.
Is it? He's on his
He
he's on
is
their payroll.
making $3.5 million, and that it ranks 6th
What?
in the Reds organization.
That's bad. It sucks too
Oh
because the
my
Reds actually
God.
have like a pretty exciting farm system, and they just do not give a shit at all about
Yeah.
that team. It's really depressing. That's what I can always hang my hat on that. You know, we may make some very puzzling moves or lack thereof. At least we're not the fucking Reds or the Pirates
Yeah, we're
For
still
the
going out
Padres
there and
at this
compete.
point,
or the Marlins.
I'm still pumped we're getting baseball.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
How about the
knows?
Padres though? You signed Tatis to God knows how long, God knows how much.
I think it was
money,
like
and then he
13,
breaks his-
345.
Yeah, and then he breaks his wrist on a motorcycle.
Did you see his quote?
which time?
Yeah, he goes, which time?
Yeah.
Dude, how mad are you if you're a Padres? Remember how
Oh.
good they were supposed to be? Like,
Yeah,
Chris
they
was
didn't make the
supposed to
fucking
be
playoffs.
Dude, that's
Didn't
the
make
that's a perfect example of a
playoffs.
team just like going all out and trying to win that next year and then just tanking.
Ooh, how about this?
Yeah, now they're kind of fucked for a while.
No,
see
did
that they
you see
they
that?
mortgaged
Yeah.
the future, and now they're just kind of fucked.
We're kind of dicking around right now, but this could actually be something that's applicable to the Yankees. Did you see their quote unquote aggressively shopping Eric Hosmer, left-handed first baseman, and Will Myers?
No.
I
Will
didn't see
Myers
that
would be
at
fun.
all.
I love Will Myers.
I don't
I
really
like the no batting gloves.
yeah.
I'm
Eric
pretty
Hosmer-
sure that
Eric-
anybody that the Yankees are linked to currently is not going to happen.
No, yeah, it's gonna be somebody.
I
we
think
don't.
it's going to be somebody, yeah, like a Hosmer or Will Myers.
We're
Give
gonna
me Chris
we're gonna
Bryant,
get Jeff Mathis and call it a day. Another catcher in the platoon. Stephen Vogt.
Do you think there's anything to the Sean Murphy rumors?
I would hope so.
Those
I would be
rumors were
very excited.
created by people on Twitter, I think. When did show me one report that said we were linked to Sean Murphy?
The same guy that said we're on the 1 yard line of Matt Olson.
Who's
I'm
that?
sure. I'm
It-
sure Nightingale said it somewhere.
Does it matter? The whole joke is that he said we were pending medicals on Matt Olson.
I think it's gonna be Chris Bryant.
You think so?
I think
you
because
think?
we haven't talked about it at all, I think we're gonna get
I
him.
feel like nobody's been talking about him going anywhere.
I'll say
know.
this: my immediate thought.
Why don't the Giants want him?
Dude, honestly,
he was great.
It honestly does fit perfectly with like the Yankee mentality of like playing someone in a different position every single day.
Yeah.
I would love him.
My
He's-
immediate thought when we got Donaldson was, you got him for $25 million, or you could get Chris Bryant for 27.
if we get Chris Bryant, I think he's immediately my favorite player.
I absolutely love Chris Bryant. I'm all in.
I
on
would
that.
buy his jersey on the
Same.
spot.
Let's go
I would
together.
absolutely buy his jersey.
We'll go to the MLB shop now that I'm a New Yorker, and we can.
Should
we
we
can do
just
that.
list off every single person who could possibly go to the Yankees, talk about him for a second, then go back and say we called it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
did.
we have it on record.
Yeah, yeah. So we
Yeah.
can clip it like
Daniel Vogelbach is going to be that guy.
Dude, if we bring in Daniel fucking Vogelback, get out of here.
Pujols hasn't
Nah.
retired yet, has he?
No,
Still got like 11 years left in his
no.
contract.
That's funny. That's one
No,
of
he's
the,
a free agent.
yeah.
What? That 10 years is over already?
Yeah,
That's
already.
Somebody's gonna bring it in NLDH.
Dude,
guaranteed.
you want to know what's funny? He's one of the like 2 players the Red Sox are in on and pursuing.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's 42 years old.
Yo,
That's
how is he
insane.
still kicking it? I
Some of
don't-
these guys, he's not kicking it. He had a negative WAR last year.
He's like 20 home runs
I mean,
shy
he's
of
still
700.
playing,
That's why.
How many?
Like 20.
That'd be cool if we just signed him so he could get it at Yankees. He's not going to hit fucking 20 home runs next year.
No, we can sign him after he gets released after 18 with 20 games left, and then maybe he can hit 2 with the Yankees, and he can retire a Yankee with 700 home runs.
Where's Trevor Story going?
Cardinals.
You think that'd be cool? Good for them.
I could be on board with that. I like the Cardinals. All right.
You think Correa is going back to?
Yeah.
I think that was kind of inevitable.
I think that kind of happened yesterday. I think him going back to Houston kind of just came quick. Also, have you noticed his brother? I don't even remember his name, but he plays baseball. A brother-in-law or something. He just tweets like the eyeball emojis like once every 2 days. Like the market will heat up for Carlos Correa, and he just tweets the eyeball emojis. Like, shut the fuck up, man. You don't know anything.
Shut up, man.
Agreed.
What about Jonathan VR? Wouldn't hate that. He's got some speed. Let's either go all in on one side or the other. Just get a bunch of fast guys and just be the small ball team that I've wanted to be from my fanhood, or just get every home run hitter on the market, and then just be able to beat anybody in a fight.
NFL free agency is also heating up. We should just absolutely
I think that's the end
like
of
an
this
offensive
episode.
lineman.
I think Zach Wilson will hit really well at center field.
All right. See you guys later. That was our reaction to the Yankees trade. We're going to continue with the roll calls. Another episode. Gallo will be coming out on Wednesday. And then we're going to release another one. And yeah.
Leave reviews.
Leave reviews, please. Subscribe to the YouTube. Love you guys. I think we can right this ship.